What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, the Blu-ray Bandit, back once again with another pawn shop haul video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your best shot at a free digital code. Let's see what I can find. Welcome back. I hit one pawn shop. There's 18 titles in here. Let's see what I found. This was a Cash America pawn. I paid a total of $79.87 for 18 titles, which brings them out to roughly $4.43 each. First up, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Probably my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I already own this on Blu-ray. This copy is brand new and sealed. I will be reselling it on eBay to pay for some of the titles in this haul that I'd rather keep. This one scanned at roughly $7 on eBay. The Collector. This is a horror film I have never seen, nor have I really heard anything about. I don't know if it's any good. I picked it up because it is sealed and it scanned decently high, roughly $13 or $14 on eBay. I do not plan on even giving it a watch. I'm just going to resell it to help pay for some of the titles I'd rather keep within this haul. Derailed, starring Clive Owen and Jennifer Aniston, also with Exhibit and RZA, two rappers. I love movies with rappers in them. I had actually never heard of this one. This is the unrated version. I don't have any clue what this movie is about. It's scanned at roughly $7. So I figured it was a pretty good roll of the dice. Figured I'd pick it up, give it a watch. If I enjoy it, I'll add it to the collection. And if I don't enjoy it, then I will put it on eBay. I picked it up and gave it a scan because it's not a title I see on the shelves in Orlando. In fact, I had never even heard of this movie before I picked it up and gave it a scan. The jury's still out on this one. The Big Trail, starring John Wayne. This is another title that I had never seen in a pawn shop before, so I picked it up, gave it a scan. It scanned at $6. I don't particularly love John Wayne Westerns. My dad did. My dad watched them all the time when I was a kid. I remember watching them with him on Saturday after Saturday morning cartoons. They're fine. I've just never seen one that completely blew my mind. What's your favorite John Wayne movie? Maybe I just haven't watched any of the good ones. Not that the ones I've seen are bad. They just are very formulaic, and I find John Wayne not that interesting on screen. But I picked this one up, not necessarily to give it a watch, but to give it a resale. It's scanned at about $6. I plan on reselling it. Point Break, the 90s classic starring Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. This is a Catherine Bigelow film, director of Hurt Locker and Zero Dark 30. This one is sealed, brand new. I already own this movie on Blu-ray in used condition, already opened, so I will be reselling this one to help pay for some of the titles that I plan on keeping. An easy flip for Point Break. The Strangers, Pray at Night with slipcover. I've bought this one before. I don't have it in my collection, nor do I really want it. I bought it for the purposes of reselling it. This one's with digital code. Yeah, I've sold this one before. Roughly from memory, I think it went for $5 or $6. Pretty much doubling what I paid for it, and then some. The last one I sold was without slipcover. I'm curious to know if this one will go for more. I pretty much picked it up because at this pawn shop, they typically give me the deal of 4 Blu-rays for $10. But I have to even it out to a multiple of 4. So I have to either buy 4 for 10 or 8 for 20. And I just needed one more title to fill out the 8. Since I had sold this one before, I knew it was a pretty good bet. I'd get my money back at minimum. The Last Witch Hunter, another brand new sealed movie. This one was released in early 2020, I believe right before the pandemic lockdowns occurred. It didn't get much of a fair shake in theaters, although I've never seen it. I don't know if it's any good. I doubt it is. I don't remember anybody really talking about it at the time. Vin Diesel seems to have a hard time making good movies, unless it's a part of the Fast and Furious franchise. But yeah, I picked this up because it was brand new. It'll be an easy sell. It didn't scan particularly high, but it will once again help pay for one of the titles I plan on keeping. Infernal Affairs, another brand new sealed title. So this one is infamous for being the motion picture that inspired The Departed. It's essentially The Departed story, only as a foreign language action film. I haven't actually seen this, and if it was unwrapped, I would probably keep it, but it is wrapped. And this is an odd one when it comes to estimating the value of a Blu-ray. At the time that I bought this, I scanned it to see what it was going for on eBay. And there was really only one example sale of a brand new copy of Infernal Affairs having sold recently. And that one was listed at $90, but the best offer was taken on it. And unfortunately, when someone purchases a Blu-ray via best offer, you don't actually get to see what they actually paid for it. A used copy of this sells for roughly $20. I doubt whoever sold their new sealed copy like this one got $90. Obviously, they didn't get 90. I'm guessing they didn't even get close to 90, but really I have no barometer for how much this is actually worth since it is brand new and sealed. Thus, for our estimated value, I'm going to go with $20, which is what its value averages out to on eBay used. I'll probably get more for it because it is sealed, but it's a weird one to try to estimate. At this point, let's put that down and have a little story time. So I've gone through the Blu-ray shelves. I've chosen the 8 titles that I'd like to purchase. At this particular pawn shop, they advertise $3.99 per Blu-ray, and that's it. But I know that at this shop, they regularly give me the aforementioned 4 for $10 deal. So I walk up to the counter with my 8 Blu-rays, and I say, hey, you guys normally give me 4 for $10. Can I get that today? And the guy says, sure. And then he says, are you interested in any 4K titles? And I'm like, sure. And then he said, I've got some in the back. Hold on a second. He goes in the back and brings out a huge stack of 4Ks. So I bought a bunch, starting with Baby Driver. This is an Edgar Wright film, director of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, starring Ansel Elgort, Lily James, John Hamm, and Jamie Foxx, amongst others. It's a super fun heist movie. It's most unique because the actual action of the movie is set to the music. When Edgar Wright directed the movie, he pre-selected the music before he started shooting the film, and so he edited and shot the film to match the beats of the music. It's pretty awesome. This didn't scan particularly high. It scanned at roughly $8. Unfortunately, it didn't have the slip. Copies of this on eBay with the slip from memory were well over $20. But regardless, it's already open. I'm adding it to the collection, and I'm happy to have snagged it at a little over $4. A movie I probably would have paid $10 for if given the opportunity. Predator, the original. This is the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic. I enjoy Predator 2, but those are pretty much the only 2 Predator movies that are worth anything. The others are entertaining, but pretty disposable. I love the original Predator. I think it's one of the perfect examples of 80s action movies. Schwarzenegger in his early prime, got a really cool monster in the actual with 4K digital code. Yeah, the Predator itself is a great movie monster, and it's just a cool little horror survival film. It's awesome. Everybody loves Predator, including me, and now I've got it in 4K. Solo, a Star Wars story. Not everybody loves this movie, but I do. I enjoyed it. Once you get over Alden Ehrenreich's performance as young Solo, and you're able to kind of remove him from the legend of Harrison Ford playing the character, it's a fun sci-fi adventure movie. Also, the scene with Solo meeting up with Chewbacca for the first time, to me, that fits perfectly within the canon of the series. Perfect performances in this scene, nailed it when they had to in the probably the most important moment of the movie. Yeah, I enjoy this one. I mean, it's not the best. Here I'm missing the Blu-ray, which is not a big deal to me. I don't own this on Blu-ray, so I was glad that if a disc was missing, it was the Blu-ray itself and not the 4K. This is the last Star Wars film I do not own on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray, so it kind of completes a collection for me. If you passed on this because of the negative word of mouth at the time, just ignore it. Go in expecting a little, and I think you'll enjoy it. Cars 3 in 4K with slipcover. This is the Ultimate Collector's Edition. This is the Pixar film, the 3rd film in the Cars series. The Cars series is probably My least liked Pixar series. I think the Cars movies kind of play more for kids than they. Oh, with digital code. Yeah, I think these movies play more for kids than they do for adults. Whereas the better of the Pixar movies tend to play well for both. You got the Blu-ray and the 4K in this set. Someone on Reddit said the slipcase on this is hard to find, but when I estimated the value on eBay, it only came out to roughly $16, which is not bad, but I've seen other titles that with the slipcover are much higher than that. So it might be hard to find, but it's really not that in demand. Since I do not prefer this movie, I bought it for the sole purpose of reselling it to help pay for the titles that I'd rather keep. Aquaman, the DC movie with slipcover in 4K. I generally don't prefer the DCEU superhero movies. I pretty much only like Wonder Woman 1. This movie's not that bad. It was kind of fun and a little wacky. At least it had that going for it, even if it doesn't turn out to be a classic in the end. I enjoyed Jason Momoa hamming it up on screen for sure. Oh, with digital code, these 4Ks are really paying off for me today. Yeah, so Aquaman, there's the Blu-ray and the 4K. I'm going to resell this. It's scanned at roughly $11 with slip. It will go to help pay for some of the titles I plan on keeping. Hostiles with slipcover in 4K, starring Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, and Wes Studi. It's a Western. I enjoy this movie. It's very dark. Directed by Scott Cooper. Nothing good happens to any... Oh, with digital code. Yeah, nothing good happens to any of the characters in this movie, but it's so well made and so well acted. I enjoy it. I've seen it a couple of times. It was my favorite in the year it was released. I'm excited to own it on 4K. I own it on Blu-ray. This is an upgrade for me, and a pretty good upgrade because this one with slip scanned at $19. If you haven't seen it and you can handle some pretty intense material, you should check it out. Otherwise, you should probably pass. This probably won't be the Western for you, but it is the Western for me, Hostiles. Blade Runner 2049 in 4K with slipcover. When I was considering making the jump to 4K Blu-ray, this was one of the titles I had in my brain as a must-have. It was a beautiful movie in theaters. The cinematography is amazing. I watched it again on Blu-ray, and now I can't wait to check it out on 4K as well and have it in my collection to be able to watch whenever I want. There's a little bit of sticker residue right here. I'll be removing that as well as here on the cover. Oh, with digital code, but missing the Blu-ray. Again, not a big deal to me as long as it has the 4K disc. Not a big deal at all. When I rewatch it, it would be the 4K disc anyway. And I never really plan on reselling it, so I don't care if it is a complete set. This one will be in my collection for as long as I have a collection. Independence Day 2-film collection. This is the original Independence Day from the 90s, as well as the reboot sequel film that came out just a few years ago. This one is a classic. This one, not so much. Don't particularly love this movie. I only saw it once in movie theaters. I should probably give it a second shot. This is one of those 2-film collections that actually is just the 2 titles in one box. Each of them was also sold independently. These are just the independent titles with a box to contain them in. I wasn't actually able to find an estimated value on the box set itself, so I scanned them independently. This one scanned at $10, and this one scanned at about $26. So together, rough estimated value of $36. I'll probably keep them both just because it's a collection, but mostly just for the first film. And finally, The Patriot, starring Mel Gibson with slipcover. This one was the highest single title scan at roughly $29. This is a movie I remember enjoying when I saw it in the movie theater. I don't think I've seen it since. I don't think it's going to hold up against Mel Gibson's better films, like Braveheart or the Lethal Weapon series. Actually, I'm just seeing right now, this was directed by Roland Emmerich. That's the same guy that directed Independence Day and its sequel. What a strange coincidence. When I think of The Patriot, I do not think of Roland Emmerich, that's for sure. Oh, with digital code, got the Blu-ray and the 4K inside. I'm tempted to resell this one just because it scans so high, and I don't have any particular love for the Patriot, at least not in my foggy memory of the first time I saw it. Since it did scan high, it would go a long way to help paying for these titles that I'd rather keep. Maybe I'll put it on the shelf and decide later. So there we go, 18 titles, including 11 4K titles. You've also got that big question mark with Infernal Affairs. How much is that worth? Who knows? I ended up negotiating all the titles you see in front of you down to $75 or $79.87 after tax. That brings the per title average price down to $4.43 each. Total estimated value for this pawn shop haul, $244. But wait, there's more to this story. When I got home, I realized that I had picked the 4K titles that I wanted to keep. But I left a lot of value on the table in the 4K titles I didn't want to keep. And I thought, why didn't I just buy those too? I mean, $4.43 per title on average is a ridiculously good price for 4Ks. So I went back and bought everything else they had. Next Wednesday, part 2 of cheap 4K titles. Thanks for watching this surprise part 1. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for your best shot at a free digital code. I ain't got time to bleed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, bye.